guys, how's it going? It's Al. Week 18, and we have a Saturday special video for you. There is 2 games on the slate on Saturday. We've got a game between Pittsburgh and Baltimore, where Baltimore's basically going to be sitting everybody, and then a very entertaining game between the Houston Texans and the Indianapolis Colts, where things are meaningful, and it's in a dome. So basically, it's a 1-game slate on Saturday where maybe you're going to find a little bit of value in Pittsburgh and Baltimore and then just jam in everybody from Houston and Indy. So we're going to take a look at ways or the way that you're going to take a look at hammering into lineups into this slate, as well as, everything else. We're going to go build a pick'em over on Underdog Fantasy. We're going to take a look at building 150 lineups over on Fantasy Labs. And we're going to have a little bit of fun with it. So thank you guys for being here. If you wanted to get the cheat sheet, which comes out every single Friday for the main slate on DraftKings, go to smizzle.tv/Discord. And as a bonus, we have our first ever golf cheat sheet for the first golf slate of 2024. Longtime golf expert in our Discord and mod on our channel, Headlock, is going to be putting one of those out every single week of the golf season. First one is going to be out by the time this video goes live. Every Wednesday, the golf cheat sheet will hit the Discord as well, with some best bets if you're a sports bettor, and DFS plays, high-end value plays, and some sub 10% plays for you GPP players out there. It's $5 a month. Become a service subscriber in the Discord. And other than that, you get the Friday NFL cheat sheet as well. So thank you guys for being here. Drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, ring the notifications bell, and let's go.
He's a legend.
The Smiz Gang Listener League is posted for week 18. It's $10 to enter. It's 3 max. It's no rake, but it's not in the DraftKings lobby. You got to go to smizzle.tv/links if you wanted to get in there. And I think that you should register and lock up your 3 entries early, because it's going to fill. It's only 2,500 entries because it's week 18, and they kind of cut things down as the season goes along. It's the final listener league of the year. We don't run these for the playoffs, so make sure that you get in if you want it to be in there for the final rake free contest of the NFL season that we run. Thank you guys for being a part of this all season long. Make sure you get in now, smizzle.tv/links. The Discord links in there, and links to everything else that I do. So make sure that you join. Let's take a look at this slate. We're going to go game by game. We're going to break down all these teams, and I'll show you kind of how we're going to look at building a lineup for this slate. As I said, Baltimore's going to rest everybody. Mason Rudolph has looked good after not looking good in previous years, where he got hit over the head with his own helmet previously. They're not throwing the ball a lot with him, which is what they probably should do, but he's been efficient with the times that he has thrown the ball. Only 2 touchdown passes, really 17 and 18 completions. There's not very much meat on the bone, but he's not going to be facing a whole host of starters. But with 54 players on the roster, not like they can go very far off of what, like, this defense is still going to be a very tough defense on Baltimore's side. They can play all the backups on offense, so it should be a low scoring game. The total is like, it's the low 30. It's bad. Like, everybody's going to focus on the other side. There's some value plays in this one. I don't think you're going to be playing Mason Rudolph. If you are, Pickens is 5,600. I think you can get after him and possibly after Deontay Johnson. They're not going to get you huge volume, but like, they're not really going to target the tight ends all that much either. 3-4 targets. As I said, he's really only completing 17, 18 passes. It's going to these 3 guys. At running back, Najee Harris is limited on Tuesday's practice. Monitor the practice reports for him as it goes along. They have to lean on the running game. They have to do it a lot more with Mason Rudolph, because, again, not going to be a guy that they're going to just drop back a ton. We're also going to see more usage out of Jaylen Warren, not just in the running game, but also in the passing game. 10 targets the last 2 games. This is what we want to see from Jaylen Warren. Now, if Najee is hurt and can't really handle the 27 opportunities he got last game, and we get an extended usage out of Jaylen Warren in this game against 75% of Baltimore's defense, and they extend him to 15 to 20 opportunities, which is what he got last game, 17 instead of the 14, 16, 12 that he was getting before. Now there's a lot more meat on the bone for Jaylen Warren, and I like this an awful lot. for this week. He's probably my favorite value play on the Steelers in this game. Let's take a look at the other side, shall we? Lamar Jackson, the very likely MVP candidate. They're locked in. They're the number 1 seed. They got a bye week. I don't know how much he's going to play, if at all, which means that like Taylor Huntley is going to start and, you know, Snoop's going to get like all the snaps. So if you want to play him, like we know what he is. We've seen him play before. He is a quality backup quarterback in the NFL. He has some rushing ability. He also makes mistakes. He has some turnover prone tendencies. He's nowhere near Lamar Jackson. He's not Lamar Jackson light. He's not a poor man's Lamar Jackson. He's none of those things. He's a backup quarterback in the NFL. Gus Edwards, probably not going to play. Might not see Justice Hill at all. Probably going to get the Melvin Gordon show. You know, we saw him. We had the portion of the game last week where we saw him score a touchdown. We're going to see him in like some practice squad guys in this game. He's 4,800. They're at home. If you think he's going to get like 20 touches in this game, get after it. 4,800 if you wanted to get him. At wide receiver, some guys are going to have to run around. So you think that they're going to play Odell Beckham Jr. fine, Bateman fine. I think Aguilar at 3,300 could be a shout to get like 6-7 targets at 3,300. Wallace, Treadwell, all these guys are in play. Likely Kolar, whatever. Not really thrilled in the tight ends in this spot, especially not at 4,800 for Likely, who I love when Lamar Jackson is playing and they're going for it. We need more. We have to know more. And as I'm recording this video on Wednesday, I don't have full knowledge of what's going to happen with Baltimore. So we kind of have to play this by ear. And there's too much unknown right now for based on playing time for me to want to lock in much from Baltimore based on the fact that they don't have much to play for. We don't know if their starters are all going to sit, which ones are going to sit, who's going to get the playing time and who's not. I'm assuming they're all not going to play just based on the nature of football, where they are, that they're locked in, and they have nothing to risk. And so they should not risk anything. Moving on to the other two teams in the other game. You know, before we do that, let's go over to Underdog Fantasy. If you don't have an account over at Underdog, you should go because they're giving you up to a free $100 on your first deposit to the site. If you use the code ALSMIZZLE, you get up to $100 deposit bonus. You deposit $100, they put $100 in your account. You can play pick 'em. I got 4. We're going to build a pick 4. All higher because I'm a dummy. CJ Stroud over 257.5. Jonathan Taylor over 81.5 because he has crushed Houston in his career. Houston much better defensively right now. Pittman Jr. 79.5 over, so 80 more. And Nico Collins 70.5 for $100 to win 790. Let's do that, and then let's talk about this. So head over to Underdog, use my code ALSMIZZLE, get yourself a free $100. Let's look at this game. This one's more fun. Houston, a whole lot of fun with CJ Stroud at quarterback. The rookie should top 4,000 yards, rating of 99, 21 touchdowns and counting. We've seen him have massive ceiling games already with 44. He's won a Millionaire Maker, 33 points, 2-game slate. Him at 7,300 and his opponent are the two most likely quarterbacks on this slate. They're going to be the two highest owned, like by a long shot, and we should be correlating through them. Stroud, awesome. Singletary, it has some contract incentives. We'll see how much they run him out there. Both teams have stuff to play for in terms of seeding, in terms of winning the division, and all those sorts of things. Singletary has been fan-freaking-tastic since taking the job away from Dameon Pierce, who has basically been relegated to the nether since Singletary took the job, all 5'7" of Devin Singletary. Remember how good Dameon Pierce looked last year? Like, that's all basically gone. Singletary has been used a lot in the passing game recently, and a lot more consistently. Why is it rolling all over the place? He had not been used earlier in the season as consistently as now, like 2 targets a game, but like minimum of 3 targets each of the last 4 games, a high of 5, 31 opportunities against Tennessee, 19 against Tennessee again in this game. That might just be how they're using him against Tennessee, but like I think that that's going to roll over because of how much better this offense has moved with this sort of deployment for him. He has splashed big play potential, 24-yard long here, a 41-yard catch in this game. No touchdowns in any of them, so he's got it done on volume alone. He's only 6,000, in this spot, but I think the passing game is where we want to get after it. 7,600 for Nico Collins. He is the biggest, baddest, best target option that they have with Tank Dell out for the season, with the stupidest broken bone having the smallest wide receiver block around the goal line. We're not going to get into that. Noah Brown was a non-participant on Tuesday. Monitor his injury situation as the week goes on. He's 5,300. Bobby Trees didn't take part on Tuesday's practice, but like, he's a veteran. It could just be a Veterans Day. So again, monitor that. They've worked Michi more in as the season's gone along. 3 targets. His snaps and targets and routes have increased as the season has gone along, which is great to see. The high talent, high pedigreed prospect being more involved in things. I'd love to see him get more involved as his career moves along. He's 3K. I don't think he's going to be like a big impact player this week. Just wanted to highlight him because if everybody's out, he seems to be their next guy. But if all of these wide receivers are out, we could see more 2 tight end. We saw Brevin Jordan do well in the absence of Schultz earlier this season. We saw him catch a touchdown last week on only 2 targets against Tennessee. But Dalton Schultz seems like he could be in for a big day if they're missing other pass catchers. So Dalton Schultz at 4,200 could be a very, very solid play in this spot. And then on Indianapolis' side, there's like 3 plays in my opinion. 1, Gardner Minshew, 5,900, opens up a lot of salary. Yes, he has turnover issues, but he has been a godsend for the Colts this season, losing Richardson to that season long injury. He's posted some really big games. He's also had some stinkers. But on a super short slate like this, you want to gamble on the talent around him and the big play of the pieces around him. 1 being Jonathan Taylor, who has not been utilized in the passing game as consistently as he had in years past in this offense. 3 targets over the last 4 games for the Colts, but I think that we could see that change randomly as he has flashed a 5 target game, a 6 target game, a 4 target game before. So like, there's no real predictability to the way that they deploy him. It's just kind of random the way that they run their offense. It just kind of is what it is. Moss dealing with an injury, limited already. So like, we could see a completely unleashed Jonathan Taylor this week in terms of snaps and volume. At wide receiver, Pittman, we're going to get the full usage of Michael Pittman as well. We have seen Alec Pierce kind of blossom over the last month, where he was just doing nothing the first month of the season. He really has come on later with a 22-point game against Tennessee, against Vegas, 12.8 on his only catch of the game. 7 targets, 5 targets against Atlanta and Pittsburgh. Josh Downs has flashed from time to time. Big target totals earlier in the season. That's kind of tapered off late. He did see 9 targets against Atlanta, but that was sandwiched by 2, 3, and 3 targets in the 3 weeks that come around that Atlanta game. So like, kind of a crapshoot everywhere else. How would I look at building on this slate? Like, it's kind of an easy build that builds itself. A highly correlated lineup based on volume and value. Like, it's not all that difficult to get after. We can go with Taylor, Minshew, correlation between a running back and a quarterback kind of out the window on a super short slate like this. Hitting Warren at 5,400 seems very easy. I mentioned Aguilar at wide receiver at 3,300 as a release valve. Let's hit Pittman here because I need to have somebody to correlate with my quarterback. I'm going to go with Schultz at tight end. Let's see Collins here. I need a defense. Let's find the Steelers going against that. And I got 5,600 remaining. Harris, Pickens, Hill, Brown, Downs. You can pick anybody that you want in this spot. I'm going to go with Pickens, which would move Collins down in here. So give me Pickens in that spot. I would move Collins down in here. Let's head over to Fantasy Labs. And if you do not have an account over at Fantasy Labs, go to smizzle.tv/labs with an uppercase L. These are the simplistic rules that I start with on a short slate like this one. I build this custom rule in as well to add 2 players at running back, wide receiver, and tight end, where the projected ownership is less than 30. I build these general rules in. I have an expanded max ownership per lineup from 130 to 180. I boost my per positions. You can freeze the video if you want. Go over to custom, apply these lineups, and let's generate 150 lineups. realize that you're not just going to click the generate button. You do have to kind of monitor what you're looking at and see how you can build your correlations and your combinations and your allocations to make sure you're getting what you want, but it is a big time saver. Their 6-month package is the best value that they have on the site. And if you wanted a more in-depth look at how I think you should be using the Fantasy Labs lineup builder, here's a video right here that in less than 20 minutes will walk you through all of the tips and tools that they have over on Fantasy Labs to make you a better player with the Fantasy Labs lineup builder on entering mass multi-entry lineups on DraftKings. Good luck. I'll see you next time.